What is up, everybody? Turboverse TV here today, and we have a Sony fanboy pretty much crying at the thought that Microsoft could take #1 spot this generation. So much so that he is saying he will quit gaming. Oh, he's going to no longer become a gamer if Microsoft takes the #1 spot over Sony. Now, you got to be deeply entrenched into the whole console war thing that if Sony loses their top spot, you're done with gaming. Like, that's just craziness. That is completely bonkers to me. But you know, according to this guy, he just can't stand the thought of Microsoft winning. So let's play the clip. This is bizarre to me, but let's you can hear it for yourselves with his own words. Let's play the clip right here.
Two different levels. However, the one thing I will say is I refuse to believe and I refuse to accept that the winner in the video game industry is the one who can spend the most amount of money. Even if that is how it goes, I will quit gaming and I will be done because that's unacceptable to me. That is.
I was gonna laugh at that because what type of childish mindset is that? Like, you don't think the person who spends the most money is most likely gonna win the market? That's like saying that, hey, Ralph Lauren or Gucci or some Prada isn't going to make more money than some indie, than Sarah down the block who has a struggling clothing brand, who's just making a clothing brand. Like, well, how do you think this goes? Or like or Disney or, who do people make the millions? Illumination. Their film shouldn't do better than some indie person who just barely has a studio to make their animated movies. Or you can keep going. Or Marvel and DC, how they make more money selling comics than a regular person who just started a comic book venture. So it's like, of course, the people with the most money are gonna win in any industry. Why does he act so like this is a brand new concept here? And the fact that he says he's gonna quit is just so laughable. Okay, we'll wait to see that when that happens. But let's continue.
Is a complete disservice and disrespect to what this industry is and what it's capable of, what it has been doing for decades now. The notion that it's whoever can spend the most money wins. I want no part in that, truthfully. And I'm not saying that's what Microsoft is doing. I'm just saying that they are ushering in a new era where there is going to be a lot more money being spent, not just by Microsoft, but by other conglomerates as well and other major tech companies. It's going to happen, but I will always believe that, you know, the smaller companies, such as Nintendo, such as Sony, you know, the companies that have made this.
Nintendo and Sony are small companies now. Like, what are you talking about? Why do they keep treating someone like it's some type of indie developer, indie company? No, they make millions of dollars. Like, what are you talking about? Probably even I don't know if they make trillions, but they make a lot of money. They make millions. So it's just stop treating these companies like they're indies. It's just weird.
Industry, frankly, what it is in many ways, will not only survive and persist, but thrive as well, because they'll always have that touch that any corporation that's just soullessly spending money to try to win will never have.
He is so delusional. Like, how do you think Sony had the presence it has today by spending more money than the competition? Because clearly, when you see PlayStation games compared to Nintendo games, just use those for examples, it's obviously PlayStation games have a higher budget and they do more marketing deals. They do more exclusivity deals. So it's just so bizarre when he asks, like, they really want to treat something like it's some type of indie company. Maybe that's why they are fine with the decisions that Sony has made this year and this generation alone, because that one big major game this year is not okay. Maybe that's why they're fine with that, because they view it as an indie company. The charging more for the online service, the PS Plus, that's not a good move, but they're okay with that, probably because they view it as an indie company. So it's just shocking. The fact they just treat Sony like it's some big small company and they just can't compete with Microsoft when they're the market leader. Like, cry me a river. Get the smallest violin for this guy. It's like, really. all this
Rating
over.
on just two
Once again,
different
all this
levels.
is over if Microsoft takes the #1 spot in sales. Like, that doesn't really change anything if you're a gamer, but these guys are really affected by that. If that happens, they're really affected by it for whatever reason. So let's see what people have to say about this. Did you forget the funded studios? Did you forget the funded studios that Sony makes? I think that's what he's trying to say here. But yeah, apparently he forgot that Sony funds studios as well to make these big budget AAA games on PlayStation. Society if MBG just left gaming. It's like a utopia. Nintendo is a small company. Sony's a small company. Just laughable statements right there. What a whiny child. He has a mentality of a child, because just some of the stuff he's saying just doesn't make any sense. That if you're an adult, you would say, like, you don't think the bigger company is gonna win? People who spends the most money on the venture is gonna win? Like, what do you think is gonna happen? Man would fail to be a business owner. Yeah. His definition of what a small company is must be different than mine. Yes, he's literally calling Sony and Nintendo small companies. Like, they're like grassroots, like they just started. Like, it's just like, what is going on with this dude's just mentality? It's just weird. Sony basically entered the game industry by spending a ton of money. In the 90s, Sony used their money to make third-party game exclusive. They are still doing it now. The whole whoever spends the most money will win, I will quit gaming crap is saying is pointless. Yeah, they did the same thing. They used their whole thing of selling TVs and Walkmans and radios from the 90s to get into the gaming get into the gaming market. They made all those third-party games exclusive. So it's just a bunch of nonsense what this guy's talking about. Like, they really want to rewrite gaming history. They want to be game revisionists right here. This dude just called Sony a small company. Sony is the reason big businesses got involved in gaming when they came in the late 90s. He'll just flip-flop again. Also funny saying that when we're possibly having the best year ever in gaming, in which PlayStation released only one game. He is simply describing Sony from the 90s to 2001, and he doesn't even know it. Like, he literally is just ignorant of how Sony started, or he's just being delusional. I don't know. This is pure cap. YouTube is his job. First off, industry grows from investment. Sony needs money to continue to compete. It's not like a cost don't exist for Sony. I also like how he pretends Xbox had no hand in shaping the industry today in meaningful, innovative ways. Yeah. Too late. Sony's already joined the industry by spending money, and still to this day, yeah, he thinks that Sony is spending a lot of money to keep the momentum they have. Is just ridiculous. And just a ludicrous statement. It's just so dumb. This is sad and pathetic. The fact that he says he's gonna quit, like, who believes in this nonsense? Like, it's probably like a clickbait video title says, "I'm gonna quit." Then he just goes to this whole diatribe. I don't know. It's just pathetic at this point. Smaller companies then proceeds to say Sony. They're giving him the NSYNC bye treatment. Yeah, people are just laughing at the whole Sony being a small company statement. Like, he has a lot of ridiculous statements. The fact that I can make a whole video about is just the whole statement is just very telling, because he just has a lot of bad takes. It's just so laughable. People could legit make money off this dude's bad takes. Like, that's crazy. When your takes are just that awful. Like, wow. Yeah, once again, he calls him a dumbass for that statement. What an MBG and what it means to gaming, nobody cares. Okay. Went from how can Xbox compete to I'm leaving gaming if they can compete anymore. Bro, these Sony fanboys are just the most hilarious people on the planet, and for the wrong reasons, because they just say the most dumbest things possible. He talks about Xbox so much. I was already under the impression Xbox has already won. Well, then he's not a true gamer. I don't know how you could be a true gamer and say you're gonna quit this hobby because another company is the leader in the said industry. Like, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? What on earth does this even mean? Just enjoy the games. They can't do it. They can't enjoy the games unless PlayStation is the market leader. If PlayStation is not the market leader, they just lose it. They just lose their minds, apparently. So then you should have quit gaming at the PS1 and PS2 era, right? Yeah, because 360 was definitely dominating. So I guess. Can I get through a single day with one of these fanboys saying the stupidest things I've ever heard? Well, if Xbox wins, MBG better delete his YouTube channel then. Full on retire from gaming console war in 2023. He's not going to do so. This is just some clickbait nonsense right here for attention. The worst thing about the industry is people on both sides doing crap like this. Sony's a smaller company, Nintendo's a smaller company, and yet Microsoft is sitting in third place. How do you guys follow so many people that know so little is beyond me? Listen, just shut the F up. You know nothing about gaming and its history. Everything you talk about just sounds stupid. The first company that started heavy purchasing for games was Nintendo. Then Sony took it to another level of mudslinging. Sony used their power of money to get where they are. That's what he's trying to say. Worry about gaming for gaming, not what company wins. I agree. Like, this console war is going too far. Like, they literally believe that it's a literal console war. That if Sony wins, that if Microsoft wins, they gotta just, I don't know, commit Sudoku is a politically correct way of saying it. What they might do if Microsoft wins, it's just getting weird. Like, who cares? Who is the market leader? So y'all are already learning what we said about this clown. It never was about gaming. He uses his platform to hide behind his words and feelings. When the streets hit him, he cries. Typically donkey. He fronted, he used Xbox to build his empire, and it's all made of straw. Okay. MBG basically said he doesn't want gaming to grow. This is literally how gaming has always been. Nintendo locked down all the good publishers and second-party dealers to keep them off the competition. Sony used their capital and hardware to muscle Nintendo out of position and off Sega. What the F is this kid talking about? Yeah. Imagine saying stuff like this as a grown man. Absolutely embarrassing. He's just getting roasted now. Like, they're just roasting this guy. I don't see anybody who agrees with him whatsoever. So, once again, another LMBG take. Calling these Nintendo and Sony as small companies just laughable and ridiculous, but I don't know. Here you go. He has a huge following though, so people listen to this nonsense on a daily basis. I don't see how, but they do. So, to each their own. I guess everybody has their voice, no matter how dumb it is or how nonsensical the statements are. Everybody has their voice. So, definitely want to see your thoughts down below though. Leave a like if you like this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.